It's got to be some way. Really high ground. They are reluctant to grant we're not going to say, wait for another year. We haven't made a not too much because there's usually a band. Talk about what you're always welcome.
You're going to tell me where to go buy gas. Don't just text me. Yeah. All right. Now maybe we can.
You're going to run short once it is,
You already know about that stuff. You know how it's funded, right?
That's right.
I did
What did he do? So every what? She's out of them. He needs another one. I can.
She's out. I ran out of those for the video. Yeah, she did good on me. I just wanted to look at that.
I want mine so I can put it in front of there. Okay.
Apparently they were showing on. Never wrote it on. Never had this thing. I can see
I'm only hoping. I haven't. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the big thing along I'm curious.
signs up that they're covering. I don't know what they're doing, but I know the speed limit is going to drop. Because one of the speed limit signs, I think it's Cornerstone, and they got some kind of construction.
I'll ask.
I'm sure it's called the breezy trip we got now. We have they're talking about it on demand like there. It's not like that. It's going to jam it up.
Go get him.
Because for a year, been able to do this for years.
I remember getting inside.
There's no stopping it. It's not much you want.
Oh my God. I fixed that's what cares No, they did they say it wasn't my savior too.
Meeting will come to order. Will everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight we have a presentation. Devri DeToma is a construction manager for the Charleston County Transportation Department. She's been with the county for 12 years, with 8.5 years in the Transportation Development and 3.5 years with the Public Works Department. Prior to working for the county, she worked as a private engineer in Orlando, Florida. Devri has managed several of the first half-cent sales tax projects, including the Bees Ferry Road, Glen McConnell Parkway Widening Project, B Street, and Courtney Drive improvements, and the West Ashley Circle. She is currently managing the James Island Improvements Project, the US 17 and Main Road Improvement Project, and the Maybank Improvement Project. That's how that shouldn't do nothing. Devri is a 2001 graduate of the Citadel and has a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. She is a licensed professional engineer in the states of South Carolina and Florida, and a member of ITE and ASCE. Devri DeToma.
Does everyone have one of these? Does anyone need a copy? Okay, I'm sorry it's kind of I put this together today, so I apologize. There's no pretty pictures. I was on vacation. I had to take off and take care of my little one. But I first wanted to start off with, I don't think a lot of people understand how projects get funded. There's always, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? So I kind of wanted to go over how we fund projects. And I'll start off with our annual allocation program. Our council has approved for $10.5 million to go towards transportation sales tax projects. And they have approved those in categories. And in the presentation, you can see how these categories are split up and what they approved for each category. Now, how these projects get chosen is we receive a list from the city of Charleston, from all the municipalities, the town of Mount Pleasant, the city of North Charleston, the town of James Island, and they request projects for each of these categories. When they do that, we provide an engineer's estimate. We, evaluate the feasibility, and we had what we call an objective ranking system that we put these projects through. So we basically have our engineer's estimate on here, and each category is a little bit different. So for instance, intersection projects, we look at the number of accidents, we look at the average daily traffic, we look at the technical difficulty and the support for the project. So whichever ones rank the highest are the ones that get funded. If it's a really expensive project, it probably will not get funded because, again, like for instance, intersection projects, we only have $2 million a year allocated for that category. So what y'all can do, if there's a project you really think needs to be done, bike pedestrian intersection, if you submit it to the city of Charleston or Charleston County Public Works, if you get a petition, that helps rate it for the support. And again, you can look at this sheet in detail and see what y'all can do to help get these projects funded. You go, again, if you're in the city, you go to the city. If you're in the county, then you go to Public Works. A petition would help, and all these little categories, if you can help provide information, that would help get projects funded. So I don't know if that's ever been really, detailed to all y'all how these projects get funded or not, but that's how our program works. Other than our allocation projects, we do try to get federal funding whenever we possibly can. So, for instance, we have a participation agreement for $2 million for the 17 Main project. And that project is valued at $195 million. And the Federal Highway Administration really has told us they don't want to be involved when there's just $2 million and a $195 million job, because that's a lot of oversight for them. So they're actually have the DOT talking to us about maybe switching that $2 million to another project, which isn't going to affect anything. It basically simplifies the process for us to get this project moving. But with any federal project, I listed the 5 steps that each project have to go through, so everyone understands why everything takes so long. This number 1 process, the NEPA process, is the one that takes so long. And there's 3 levels. There's what is known as a category exclusion, there's an environmental assessment, and there's an environmental impact statement. And depending on the level, that project can go through that process in 3 months to 7 years, depending on the level that you have to go through. I've also attached like a roadmap kind of detailing the NEPA process, because a lot of people always ask what the NEPA process is and what you have to look at. So I gave y'all some steps so y'all can look at that and take a look at that. Let me know if you have any questions. And of course, a lot of people are worried about a lot of the factors, environmental factors. With the NEPA process, I've attached a list of everything we have to consider and document. We have to document the air quality, the cemeteries, the churches, the cost, the endangered species, the farmlands, the wetlands. There's a list of factors that we have to look at part of the NEPA process to help preserve the environment. So, some projects that we're working on Johns Island right now. The first one I have right here is the Maybank Highway Reversible Lane Study. I've just put together a triple S that's going through the approval process. I got a scope of fee to possibly look at doing a reversible lane on Maybank. A lot of people don't want Maybank widened because they love the trees. So it's reversing a lane, that lane we just built, is that a possibility? Will that help traffic? I think it's worth looking into to see if it's feasible, to see how easy it could be done. So that's one thing we're looking into. And that study will take about 3 months. Another thing we're looking at is a River Road and Maybank intersection project. I actually have plans right there on the table if anyone wants to look at that. We're doing an additional left turn lane headed southbound on River onto Maybank. And there's going to be an additional through lane and an acceleration lane for 1,000 feet. So that's going to help huge in the morning. It'll take it from a level of service D to a level of service B. It's going to make a huge improvement in the morning. We'll also do the decorative mast arm signals, the traffic lights with that project. And we have design money, and this summer we'll ask council to fund the construction for that under the allocation project. So our goal is to have that under construction of June of 2019. All right, another project that we just got approved funding for is the Sea Islands Community Sidewalk. It connects the Sea Islands community to the Maybank Main intersection and also puts ADA compliant ramps there for pedestrians. So we got approval for allocation money. That was something the city asked us to do, and that one did get approved. So we're just now getting a scope of fee for that. We're going to lump that into the Maybank Main intersection project, which council just approved last month. With the 17 Main project, I asked them if we could separate that intersection project out, because I feel like it's something we could get done quickly rather than it being held up in a NEPA process of the $195 million job. And they approved for us to treat that as a separate project. So I think I could get quicker improvements to that intersection if we separate it out from the main road widening. So we're moving forward with that as of December 20th. Next, the Northern Pitchfork. In August, council did approve for us to increase our budget from $50 million, which was the original Maybank budget, to $16.5 million. Because the Northern Pitchfork costs $4.1 million, and we do go $1.5 million if we construct it. So we will be constructing that and move forward with that here soon. I can tell you there's a lot of, I hear good and bad about that one. I think a gentleman came to the last council meeting and said he doesn't know why we're building that. because we said, the traffic report says, it'll say 3 minutes. The 3-minute savings time is for, in the design, 20 years. It's not for now, it's for 20 years. So there's a lot of people that like that project, there's a lot of people that don't like that project. But the 3-minute savings time is for 20-year design.
Can you tell me why the northern pitchfork was funded first rather than the southern pitchfork?
The northern has very minimum wetland impacts compared to the southern. The southern, initially, when we first were looking at it, and it was before I managed it, but the wetland impacts are way more on the southern. It's a much longer road, and there are significant wetland impacts. And the thought process was that it might not even get permitted through the Corps because of all the wetland impacts.
Okay.
So the more we started talking about that first, we actually, and about a year and a half ago when I got involved, we sat down with Mr. Kerr, and we said, let's come up with an alignment that we think the Corps will approve, because we just didn't feel like they would. And we did, and we took that to council, I believe in May of this year, along with the northern, and it went into executive session. I'm not part of the executive session, and all that came out of it was they didn't identify a funding source. They didn't kill the project, but no funding source was identified. So I don't know if that means the project's dead. I know as much as y'all do. I promise you that.
Okay, thank you.
But I did in the next slide, I have the southern pitchfork here. Because about 3 weeks ago, I had a developer out of the southern pitchfork send me a rendering of what they're looking at doing. And he needed a copy of my river naming plans, because I'm sure he has, the DOT's gonna require him to tie into that project. And I don't know if by looking at this, if this means they're still planning on building the southern pitchfork. Is the city gonna require a developer build the southern pitchfork? I don't know, but it looks like there's still plans for the southern pitchfork. So there's a possibility that it will be built by the developer. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so am I to understand that they can't build, don't want to build the southern pitchfork because of all the wetlands involved, but they do want to build townhomes and other single-family homes in that same area?
I don't think they don't want to build a southern because of the wetland. Again, we identified an alternative that prevented, that, you know, that we felt could get permitted. And we took it back to council, so I don't think that's the issue. I can tell you, I believe it, and I can't remember the exact figure, but I think it was $7 million more we need to build a southern. We took it to council, and we asked them to identify a funding source, and they did not. So, again, I just got this drawing. I don't know what is proposed here, but it looks like somebody's proposing to build a southern. And I'll coordinate with the city and see if that means is the developer building it. I don't know if they know more than I do. I just got this 3 weeks ago, and it's still there, so I don't know what that means.
Devri, do you know who the developer is for that proposal?
Well, I can tell you on the drawing, Stephen Whiteside is the engineer.
Okay.
Is the northern pitchfork a two-way road? In other words, on and off?
The northern pitchfork is, yes, it's two directions.
Two-directional?
There'll be a light at Penwood Alley, and
So
that's
there'll be
the only
two
light.
lights. There won't be a light on River?
There will be no light on River.
Okay, so will River be widened so that there's a left-hand turning lane and a right-hand turning lane on River?
There'll be a little bit of a storage lane. At one point in time, when we took it to the DOT, they told us we had to build an additional lane and wipe out some grand trees. And then, so then we started talking to the city, and they were gonna make us, they were like, we could build a roundabout, and go in with this new developer. And then the DOT said, you know what, y'all have done everything y'all can to get this built and to meet our requirements, so we're not gonna make you build an additional lane. So that whole roundabout idea kind of went away. I don't know if the city's gonna make the developer build that roundabout, but, we could build the northern pitchfork without having to take down any trees, like we were
So there's
envisioning.
just one more light on Main Bank.
Correct.
You mentioned 170-some million to do the big 17 and Main.
17 and Main is 195 million. I haven't gotten to that slide yet, but we can talk about that.
Where'd that figure come from? That's the highest figure I've seen yet.
195,
Yeah.
that was listed on the featured projects and referendum. There's basically, with the second half cent sales tax, there's about 2.1 billion they're gonna generate. And one of the featured projects that they have, okay, it's 190 for 17 and Main, which is the largest funded.
Did you have any, maybe this isn't your department, but, you know, the half-cent sales tax that was passed to fund these items, do you have any figure out how much money has been raised in that?
Today,
Yeah, today.
through 2004 sales tax? I mean.
Whatever, is there another one?
Yeah, well, there's the second house in sales tax, there's the first house in sales tax, and there's a second, but.
What was the most recent one that we passed?
Yes, our accountant has that information. I don't know that figure off the top of my head, because I only manage some of the projects, but yeah, we have that information.
I mean, these figures, nothing here seems to relate to how much money we've raised or what the projection is that we might raise on an annual basis. I mean, we're just pulling figures out of the air, it seems like.
No, we actually have laid it out so that we've like estimated a certain amount at the beginning of how much we would spend for the year and how to face these projects. So for instance, the 78 Dorchester Road widening haven't even started. What we're trying to do is more of a pay-as-you-go approach, so we don't bond money.
What approach?
Pay-as-you-go approach. We're trying to not bond as much as we did the first time, because these projects do take a long time to get constructed. So we kind of laid out a plan for each project and when each project should start, so we could kind of collect the money and do more of a pay-as-you-go approach, so we don't have to bond so much money.
Well, what's the projected time for Maine in 17?
So segment A, which is from the intersection improvements that everyone wants.
Right, flyover.
Yes, so we'll have the right-of-way plans by August 2020 for that. And that point,
Plan?
the right-of-way plans, which is the preliminary plans. At that point in time, we go to council and we'll do a value engineering. Should we do design build or should we do design bid build? And once we have more information, we'll be able to make a recommendation on which way we should go.
So maybe by 2030, we'll have a flyover.
No, I think it'll take that long. Yeah. I think it'll be about 2 years. In March or April, we're gonna have our first public meeting for that project. Right now, we have like 10 alternatives, and we have to go through the screening process set forth by the NEPA process. And
Why is, I've seen Stales move faster than this.
well, we have to go through the federal process.
I understand
There's
that, but-
wetland impacts, and there's a lot of impacts, and we have to go through the federal process. We absolutely have to. There's no not going through it. I mean, you're going over a bridge, so we have to.
They need to take, I think everybody on council needs to come down and spend a day, a 9 to 5 day, parked at the intersection of 17 and Main, and get some idea of the urgency.
Well, I
Because they
think.
look at the figures on paper and it doesn't equate.
Okay, all I can do is try to expedite what I can.
I know, I'm not blaming you, you don't
And-
make the decision.
Right, and what we have done, what we have proposed is to segment this project into 3 segments, so we can get that segment moving quickly. If we didn't do that, we'd be held up for 7 years. With what we're doing with segment A, which they approved in May, moving forward with that, we're already moving forward with it. Again, we're gonna have a public meeting in March or April. We'll have preliminary plans in 2 years. I think that's pretty quick.
Did you say that the project federal government would only give $2 million on the 17?
That they were giving up to 2 million, and then they said, so if they were to do that, then,
I have been raising a roof for 8 years.
right.
That should not be just a flyover. That should be a clover leaf. And I've said it many times before. You've got old Charleston highways. You can go from Hankel Marine, 162 and 17, add 2 lanes, a turn lane, and a clover leaf, and not affect one business. I'm a general contractor. Trust me, I'll go out and measure.
I can tell you, one of the alternatives was actually a flyover in a whole different location. So they're being very creative in everything they're looking at.
Well, the city's already buying properties on the corner right there, as you well know,
I
up for
know.
Marine. But we already, that's federal funds, federal.
No,
That
we-
doesn't take
Right.
the monies that we're trying here in the county and in the city.
Right.
And we need, of course, if we had the $33 million we blew on that hospital out there, we could fix our
So we are looking at creative ideas, and we'll have 5 alternatives, and they'll be very different. And we'll bring those to March or April to you guys. Yes, sir.
Yeah, does that 2020 date include having all the right-of-ways at that point, or is that process, when's that process?
It would include, we could start the right of way maybe a little bit before, but usually you don't start the right of way. If you look at the phases, now, we're not gonna go to final design necessarily. If I had to guess, and I don't know, but I would say this would be a good candidate for design build, meaning we have right of way plans, so we can start the right of way and the construction and the final design all together. But council will have to approve that once we get, we need enough information before we can make that decision. But it could very well be a design build, so in 2 years, we could start with all 3 of these last steps. Yes,
You said the pitchfork was meant to handle traffic 20 years in the future.
right, the 3-minute savings time was for design year like 2040, yes.
Okay, so the way the traffic comes down Maybank, it can only leave James Island in kind of a drip, drip, drip from one spot, right there by Riverland and Maybank.
Riverland, yes.
So, and it's 2 lanes there and it's 2 lanes coming on to Johns Island. Where's that traffic gonna come from? I mean, it can only leave James Island at a certain speed.
There is our CTC, which is a whole different pot of money, is the gap tax, and we can talk about that later too if y'all want to. They are actually funding a study for Riverland and Maybank right now to see if anything can be done.
That's a very dangerous intersection.
It is a very dangerous intersection. And there's a lot of beautiful trees and a lot of people are opposed to that. So we're doing
Turn light would help.
right, we're doing a feasibility study to see what we can do there.
But I'm just saying, how is it ever going to overload Maybank Highway on Johns Island when it can only come
Well,
at a
if
certain
something,
rate from
if
James
something
Island?
is done with that intersection,
You'd have to widen the whole bridge there. Or just, you'd have to have more than.
I don't think the bridge is the backup though. Yes, sir.
What are the construction signs that are currently covered up? What project is that?
I have no idea. Miss Mary showed me a list of things. I had no idea what any of them were.
These are the signs that are on the Stono Bridge?
Approaching James Island.
What, is there a,
I'm not aware of what's going on there. I'm really not.
We're trying to look with our maybe.
I called the highway department about that, left a message with the manager, never called me back.
That's because it's a reversible lane.
I can try to find out for you.
thank you, Mr. Bradley. I mean, the signs have been covered up for a couple months,
Okay.
and the wind blows them off,
Yeah,
and
yeah, there is
and they
for
hide them, so
there is for
they're,
Maybank, I know that's still there, that's a flag in the 35, and I told him to take that down today, so.
right, this,
Yeah, that needs to come down.
this is on the downside of the Stono, approaching the golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that might be the one I'm talking about. We told him that there were a couple of the DOTs told us today that y'all need to take those down, so.
Yeah, but it's going on to James Island is what it is. But they need to put those out for that traffic study that they're doing at Riverland and Maybank.
Riverland, they haven't started that traffic study yet, but no, they would not put signs up for that.
What on the speed limit sign?
The speed limit sign, there's 35-mile-per-hour speed limit sign that I told them today to take down.
That's not what's being covered up.
Okay,
It's a diamond shape.
I'll take a
It's
look
when
at
you're-
it.
right before you hit the golf course.
I'll go take a look at it. I'm not
This-
sure if it's.
It's attached to the bridge railing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Temporary DOT type signs, but they're covered up with a plastic bag, and the wind will blow them off, and you get to see a little peek of it. And-
I'll take a look at it and
So,
see if I
thank
can
you.
find out who and,
Yes, ma'am, thank
If
you.
it blows in the water, then that's bad for the fish.
yes.
They're wanting to build 650 apartments back there behind the food line where they're putting that Pitchfork Road. Has there been any discussion as to whether the developer should be paying for that as opposed to the taxpayer? Because it seems like it's pretty much just a driveway to their development.
I think that's the argument that's been going on for over 10 years. A lot of people feel that way, unfortunately. Again, the Southern Pitchfork's another one, you know, people think it should be built with sales tax money, and some people feel like the developers should pay for it. So I hear both ways. I don't make those decisions.
What's your best estimate for when the 17 in May will be completed, the intersection?
The intersection, okay.
Totally completed, open up, ready to go. I know we're not gonna like to hear it, but I just like.
I think it could be, okay, if we have right-of-way plans in 2 years, and we went to design build, and I don't know if design build, again, we have to look into it, it could be done within 3 years after that, so 5 years.
So 5 years,
Yeah.
the most optimistic would be 5 years.
Right.
My understanding was from Banks Company that the reason it took, well, God, almost 2 years to go from Sterling Bridge to River Road was because county council said, we gotta get started and do something. So they said, I'm so busy, we'll do what we can, because that's why we saw people working 2 days a week, and then there wasn't anybody there the other 5 days.
The one that this was done,
Yeah.
that started in May of 2016, and it was finished in August, 2017.
That's
and
a
it was-
long, long
It was finished in
time.
August of 2018. It was about a year and 3 months.
And it works. Thank you.
Yeah, it does work.
In one direction.
It works. And they actually finished that on time, which has never happened. Yeah, never happened.
I'd like to take you to the other end of the island. You hadn't gotten here to, but Beach Ferry to Betsy Carson.
You're talking about the Bohicket widening.
Correct. That's
Okay,
that's
yeah.
the Beach Ferry to
So,
Betsy
so
Carson.
I get a lot of phone calls about that. So how we phased this was segment A, which I think everybody's in support of segment A. And then, from what the traffic showed, preliminary traffic, that segment C, which is Bohicket widening, needs to be addressed before the middle section. And I've said that to a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people say, no, that middle section is a disaster. And I think the intersection improvements that I just got approval for in December, I think that's gonna help a lot of things. So I think that middle section will be okay. Segment C, I can tell you, my consultant has already called me, and they've said, because, we have to go through the environmental process, that we're gonna have to look at all feasible alternatives. We're gonna have to look at the Sea Islands Greenway to see if that fits as traffic more than Bohicket Road widening. So I don't know what we're doing yet. We haven't even started work on that yet. I'm still negotiating a scope of fee from them. That's gonna take a lot longer than segment A because of all the environmental factors.
So we're looking 20 years out, right? Excuse me.
No.
We're still looking at the 20
I
years.
should have a scope and fee, they told me in February, and they're thinking, they're not gonna go all the way to right-of-way plans. They're gonna go just through NEPA, because we don't know if it's gonna be an EA or an EIS. If it's an EA, you're talking about, the NEPA process would be about 2 to 3 years. If it's an EIS, you're talking 7 years to get to that NEPA process.
Well, my concern is right now, if Glen McCall extended like it's supposed to go all the way to Wire Road in Dorchester County. I've been to several meetings, Meade West Vaco, in their first phase, Dorchester County is building a city, 10,000 homes. That's their first request, and that's already been approved.
Okay.
All that traffic is gonna come right down the East Ferry Road, Glen McCall. I don't know what we're gonna do here. I mean, we're just,
How many years you talking about at Bohicket and right there?
Okay, so Bohicket, he said, again, okay, so we have to look at all alternatives. If you look at the referendum, it said widen Main, which should say widen Bohicket in that section. It said Betsy Carson, typical section, so they would have a median to save the trees. But again, my consultant has called me and said, you do realize we have to look at all feasible alternatives. We'll have to look at the Sea Islands Greenway. We're gonna have to look at all these environmental factors through the NEPA process, and see what is the best route to go.
So it's been approved, but you don't have a route yet.
Don't have a route yet. That will come with the public meetings. Y'all will all have, you will have your time to weigh in on that. We'll come with alternatives.
Well, that was my concern when I talked to the financer. Which side of the center line are they talking about going?
Yeah, none of that, I have nothing yet. I have a preliminary scope that I sent back, marked up, gave back to them, haven't got anything back, and I'm waiting on a fee as well for that part. Yes, sir.
What are you calling the Sea Island Greenway?
It was something that was looked at maybe 10 years ago.
You're talking about the road through the middle of the island.
Right, and because it was an option, the Corps is going to say, according to my consultant, they're probably gonna say, hey, that was an option, what, you have to look at that too to solve traffic problems.
What was that up?
I don't know if it'll get done, but it's something we have to look at to go, I mean.
Basically slicing the island in two.
I didn't hear what
Can you explain that more for people that
Okay, there's an environmental process, that we have.
No, the CIO.
The Greenway,
Where all that happened.
we're at like 10 years ago, and
Physically.
I don't know where it's gonna end or begin. Again, this is something that they're gonna have to look at. They're gonna have to look at what minimizes environmental impacts.
I believe it was supposed to end at Betsy Harris's.
It's roughly gonna go from River and Maybank to Betsy Harrison.
Right.
I mean, there's
To
nothing.
the between
on
those,
it
yeah.
yet, So,
Is that the Cross Island Parkway you just mentioned?
yeah, that's, and a lot of people refer to it as that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to find out. I live right at that intersection. I wanna find out which side of the,
Well, when we have the public meetings and the stakeholder meetings, we're not even close to that part yet. We're just under contract with segment A right now. Segment C will be next, and we will have to look at several alternatives. We're not just gonna look at one and go take
they were
it.
just surveying it the other day again.
Yes,
Just for information, if you go to a website called
okay, I didn't even know.
seaislandgreenway.org, the Kiowa interest built that some years ago, and it has the whole scheme and plans and artwork and everything. It'll help you know what the idea is.
And I'm not saying that's what we have to do, but it's something we have to look at from an environmental
You
standpoint.
said you broke out Maine and Maybank. Does that include all the way to Brownswood and maybe even all the way to Chisholm? What's the definition of that?
Okay, so I just was told today there's actual fiber optic in that light at Brownswood, so we could tie into that. So yeah, all I have them scope and feed to do now is to come up with some conceptual plans to see if it's worth separating out. And we'll bring that to the public as well, what should be done with that intersection.
It'd be great to go all the way to Chisholm, because that's where all, by the school and everything, that's where all the.
Right, and we can, you know, again, we can, I have to somewhat keep it confined to the main road widening, but if I can get some improvements now rather than it being dragged out through this painful process, we're doing what we can.
Every, at the Main and Maybank intersection,
Mhm.
there might, McDonald's and in the parking lot there, is this terrible drainage on it.
Okay.
Will that be dealt with and removed? It's just dreadful.
If it's in the right of way and if it affects the road, we would obviously do something. I don't know exactly
It's
what you're
a
talking
pretty-
about.
oh, it's just terrible.
But if it's part of the parking lot problem, no.
No, it's been there a long time, and it's just
Okay.
really nasty. It's a mosquito pit, and I'm surprised no one's drowned in it before now. It's very poorly kept.
I believe it's a runoff of the parking lot.
Yes, it is, it is.
So it's on private property then?
Yeah.
So, okay. So
if you've had to take that for the intersection,
Yeah.
So do you think they just don't clean it out?
No,
and it just-
they don't.
Okay,
No.
because that's something I could talk to her, I don't know if that's in the, is that in the county or the city?
There's more than one
It's in the city,
fault.
so somebody needs, so I can call the city and tell them that it's blocked and they need to have the property owner go
it's
clean
really,
it
it's
out.
really terrible.
Yeah.
Even the fencing is broken.
Fencing's broken, the bushes don't get trimmed, there's garbage and everything. It's just dreadful.
Yeah, that's something that we can talk to the city about. And if y'all wanna call too, the more the merrier.
Thanks very much.
Yes, yes, sir.
What's the update on the bridge project just down here on Spokane?
You're talking about, that's a DOT project, and unfortunately, I do not know. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just in your opinion, of the three stages that's going to go, the widening and all that's gonna go through, the whole intersection at Main and 17, and the widening from 17 to River Road, and then from River Road to Maybank Highway, and then from Maybank Highway to Betsy.
Right, so that's,
Measuring in difficulty, which ones are you?
I think personally, Bohickett's gonna be the most difficult.
Yeah.
Going through the NEPA process, absolutely, no ifs, ands, or buts. The reason, it has more traffic needs in the middle segment, and,
More curves, more trips.
to be honest with you, the middle segment, if Mark Park is built, the middle segment shows, the traffic study shows the middle segment doesn't even need to be touched. So, that's why that segment's last too.
That's the one that's open.
Because we're not gonna waste money if it's not gonna be needed to be touched, so. Yes, ma'am.
Tell me why the traffic circle is next, because River Road and Maybank, that light is what holds people up instead of getting people through that light.
The traffic circle?
Yeah, I think you had said earlier that there was a possibility of a traffic
On
circle.
River Road, farther down on River Road. where
Well,
the
how
road
about
is-
Maybank and River? Is anybody-
Maybank and River, we're doing an additional left turn lane, and we're gonna have an additional through lane on Maybank, and that's gonna be under construction hopefully this summer. And that's gonna clear up a lot of the issues. I know that light's not timed right. I call the city all the time. He swears it's working as best as it can. I have
So
people call me all the time.
Yeah, they wouldn't put a traffic circle on there to keep that traffic moving?
I don't know if the traffic study would work there. Traffic studies don't work everywhere. You
Yeah.
have to have equal amounts of turning movements in the morning and in the afternoon for traffic circles to work. So those traffic circles are safer. They don't work everywhere from a traffic flow standpoint. So you have to evaluate it and.
Yeah, because that light is what the problem is. I mean,
Right,
it
but
just
I
backs
thought,
up both
so
ways.
with these plans that I have right here, it takes it from a level service F, which is the worst in the
Right.
morning, to a B. So you're gonna save a lot of time once that's built. It's gonna be a huge improvement.
Okay.
This is the additional lanes and whatnot.
The additional left turn lane and is like an extra storage lane, a through lane, and acceleration.
And when would that possibly be finished?
That, I believe, could be done within, hopefully, within 4 months.
So by 2020, it might be done?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So it's 2 left turn lanes from River Road heading south onto Maybank heading east.
Correct.
And a 1,000-foot acceleration.
Acceleration lane, yes.
I mean, just continue that acceleration lane and give us, I mean, you're already halfway there.
Well, we're trying, we actually have to remove, I believe it's 1 Grand Tree doing that, and the city did approve that. But if you widen all the way, then you're taking out Grand Trees, and a lot of people love the Grand Trees, so.
Does the city have?
That's
to-
why we're looking at the reversible lane study.
Does the city still have to sign off on any of those projects that
The
go through
city-
the city? Or I thought I heard a
No.
court judgment happened where they don't necessarily have to sign off.
If there's no federal money, if there's federal money involved, you have to get municipal consent. If there's no federal money, you do not have to get municipal consent. But we do all try to work together. But no, if there's no federal money, you do not have to get municipal consent.
Are they gonna put an island there to stop people from coming out of the Food Lion shopping center and trying to cross over all the way? My son was in a horrible accident right there, and if you're gonna have 2 turn lanes versus 1 now, that's 2 sets of traffic to cross. So will there be a cement median to
Right.
keep people from coming out of Food Lion?
I can't
and trying to
recall.
cross?
Look, and I have the plans here. I can tell you, we do have to close off one of the gas stations on the other side. Like, there's several openings. We do have to close one of those off because that's a big safety issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have anything in that plan about Bowick?
Nothing about boat ticket.
Everything else is
The
fine.
intersection is not to be extended in
I just wanna make sure we're not taking my lot.
So it looks like that the Food Lion is a right in, right out.
Okay.
So that means there'll be a meeting? That means there'll be
I think this is what she's talking about.
I know what she's
Is there
talking
gonna
about.
be a
You're coming
meeting?
from James Island.
Right there.
Where's James Island? You're coming from James Island, and you want to try to cross. That's state. I just, tonight, I heard, I think we're gonna be in there. Left out of the I don't know. If you're turning left.
From River and Main, all the way down to Maybank. Are you gonna put sidewalks?
There were no sidewalks, this is an intersection project right here. So all we're doing is adding a dual left.
So that bit of May, from River to Maybank will not be widened?
You're talking about Main?
Just talk about Main Road.
Main Road,
widening?
Main Road.
Okay, everything Main Road, the whole project is provide multimodal facilities. So
Right.
we're looking at sidewalks and bike paths everywhere we
Because a
possibly
lot of
can.
people walk that and it's just
Yes.
really scary.
Yes, for the widening project, yes, we're looking at sidewalks and multi-use paths. Yes, sir.
What are your long-range plans for the rest of the island, networking all of the roads on the inside of the island, the infrastructure roads? Since the whole island is made up of two-lane farm.
Right, so that is more part of what the city and the county planning people are doing, and a lot of that is with the Maybank overlay that we just had the meetings for. They're looking at requiring developers, maybe give a right of way so that they can provide road connectivity as they develop these parcels and provide an overlay. So they're working on that. What's that?
That hasn't been presented to the public yet.
Okay, well, they should be coming back soon, I think. They said they would have like 2 follow-up meetings, yeah, so.
The development down off Burden Creek Road at the city BZA planning was 150 feet of turn lane required. How are they gonna get that on North River Road on those 4 subdivisions with those trapezoidal ditches on either side?
Yeah, I don't know what's been approved development-wise in the city unless it affects one of our road projects. Honestly, I don't. If it
Well, that's
affects
what-
one of my projects,
That's
then
what they said, you gotta have 150 feet.
Yeah, I
turn,
believe
like
it.
you got into Shade Tree and going into that new development that they want down there on 4 foot of elevation off of Burden Creek, Oak, something or other. And they wanted to get that right there at the little Burden Creek Bridge, but there's no
Yeah,
space
it
for that.
sounds like that would be a permitting nightmare. Yes.
Will the reversible lane study be just from, the study scope just be from the base of the bridge to river, or all of Main Lane?
It's just gonna be from that section. And again, it's only a 3-month study, and I think it's worth looking into to save the trees. I don't know if it's gonna be a yes or no, but I definitely think it's worth looking into for a little study, so.
The northern pitchfork, how many hurdles does that have to cross before it gets really going?
The northern pitchfork, so, I mean, it's been going on for, over 10 years, back and forth, build it, don't build it, widen Maybank, build pitchforks. Again, the last time it was taken to council was in August. They approved the construction budget to increase from 15 million to 16.5 for the construction of northern. The eminent domain papers have been sent to legal to file for eminent domain for one property owner. So it's moving pretty quickly, and I believe the other property owner just got a HUD variance approval from the city, so. The council can stop anything they want to.
I mean, were the studies that were done on that project to see if it saved 3 minutes, was that on a 1-lane Maybank Highway, or was that on a 2-lane Maybank?
No, they asked us to update the traffic study last May, and we did. And so that traffic report went back to council in August, and then that's when they approved to increase the budget to move forward with
So
it.
that, it was 2 lanes?
Correct.
And it still said, even though it takes like 58 seconds to
In the
get
year
from where...
2040, it should say 3 minutes is what the traffic report says. I'd be more than happy to give you a copy of the report. if you
Yeah,
want
I'd
to
love
see
it, actually.
Yeah.
Got one thing to say. With reference to the Johns Island Community
Guys.
Sidewalk for the Sea Island. Johns Island Council suggested that, along with the the Watermark Planning Commission. The idea came right out of this organization. Another thing I want to find out from the audience here tonight, Charleston County has the sales tax listed on the tax program to widen Beesbury Road, Main Road to Betsy Carson. Did Boyhicket Road disappear?
In the referendum, it does say Main Road, but it says all the way to Betsy Carson.
It says Main Road from Beesbury
They-
to Betsy Harrison
They
Park.
never mentioned Boyhicket Road.
Avoided the
How many people in
Boyhicket.
this room thinks that's very disingenuous for the county have not done that. Raise your hand, please. Thank you. You got people in North Charleston, Mount Pleasant, voting on a project that they don't know nothing about.
Absolutely.
And a lady on this island, in her 80s, high 80s, called me one day and asked me if I knew anything about the widening the road. She found somebody in her yard putting a stake. She went up there and asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, we plan on widening the road. I'm just measuring the road." That's very disingenuous to the citizens of Boyka Road and the community as a whole. The county should have advertised that. And they knew it'd be controversial, and it's going to be controversial. Thank you.
I agree.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
Just add up. Sold. And the meeting's adjourned.
Yay. Yes,
McDonald's for dinner.
please.
You're at the top of it or closer to Ace after you're up, or you're the corner of Ace? Right. That's the big difference. That's how No, right next to right next to yeah, it's really bad. Yeah, the Bible is called that company. Yeah, I live by my dog. My dog that bit us. And it's got a what are you doing up here on my nose? Dr. Barking and he noticed it. I don't remember.
The son was supposed to have to pay the tax bill, and he was out to pay the taxes on the one lot, which is the area, and they got the middle one. And now he's supposed to- And I said, hey, I was all right, and I said, I know you can't wait to make sure. The day after I filed. All right. Day after.